Alright, welcome to another video from Munich. My name is J.J.Want and I'm basically a cut scholar and do some vlogging inside Germany about the educational stuff. So today we have a guest whose name is Tobias Freiman, right? Exactly. Okay, so he's my vegamate and my friend as well, and I would say in my apartment one of the best friends. So we will talk about Germany's education from the very beginning of the steps, who basically got inside school, and then basically with the sequential process they basically get inside university, and the competitiveness of the university life and the school life as well. And we will also talk about some, for example, like culture about education and politics. I would also want to cover because sometimes it happens that like politics and education is quite interrelated to each other. So I also wanted to give a vibe to the viewers and the audience, like how does it look, the environment of politics compared to education. Alright, so let's get started, and if you're new at my channel, please do subscribe and please like, comment and share. Alright, Toby, how are you?
Doing great.
Doing
Thanks.
great, right? Yeah.
How
so
about you?
I'm quite well, and yeah, so hopefully it will be a good conversation.
Yeah.
And
I'm a bit excited. This is the first time I've been interviewed.
Okay.
Something like this.
Okay, then
I'm curious.
so you will be, for example, like in the future, you will be, if you will be a good motivational speaker or someone really great, for example, like a celebrity, then I will be the first who interviewed you. It will be history.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, exactly. So first of all, I also wanted to know, and I also to know about your profile a bit. What is your name? Like, what are your educations? I mean, the courses you did. I know, but our audience doesn't know. That's why.
Yeah, I can talk a bit about that. So, like I was born in Germany and brought up here, so I never really left Germany for long periods of time. And I was born in 1997, and I just had a normal school. How do you say Werdegang? Like a normal school
Okay, yeah.
way.
Primary school, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. So I went into primary school, and it takes, like elementary school, primary school, whatever you want to call it, takes 4 years in total.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you have basically 3 options to where you go at the next step. And the one is called Hauptschule.
Hauptschule, okay.
Exactly. Nowadays, I think it's called Mittelschule because some people were offended by Hauptschule.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that news as well.
Yeah.
They said like, it's racism. No, we don't want to be racist.
Yeah, that's like stupid. It's just a name. Now let's go Mittelschule or Hauptschule, whatever. And the other one is Realschule.
Okay.
And the third one is Gymnasium.
Okay, so it's basically after 4th grade, right?
After 4th grade.
Okay,
Yeah,
continue.
exactly.
Okay.
And basically the decision to which of these 3 further schools you go is based on your performance in 3 subjects. I think it was German class, math class, and one class it's called HSU, so HSU, which stands for Heimat und Sachkunde,
Okay.
which is basically like common knowledge about how stuff works, like a bit about plants, a bit about basic sciences and stuff like that,
Okay.
and geography or something
Okay.
like that. Yeah, and so I think that just take the mean of these 3 grades, and based on that, your main teacher writes a recommendation to your parents, and then the decision is basically your parents, but you can also talk with them, so they decide which further school you're
So
going to
it
attend.
wholly depends on the teacher, right?
No, like it depends on the parents, but he gets a recommendation from the teacher.
Okay.
Look, your boy or your girl, your son or daughter
needs to go to gymnasium, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess most parents will follow the advice from the teacher.
Okay, so it depends on the parents. Okay,
I would say so.
Let's discuss a bit, because like till now I basically knew that like it's fixed. For example, then it's possible that like if your teacher is recommending you to go to, let's say, real schule, but your parents wanted to be you in a gymnasium, so they can put you in the gymnasium.
I think that's entirely possible. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, then it's a false news. What I have heard, that like it's fixed from the government, that like the teacher say, hey, you should go to the gymnasium. Then it's fixed for this person, that this boy, that like he or she should go to the gymnasium.
I think that it's more flexible, that your parents can basically decide. I mean, they most commonly, I would say, they follow just the advice they get from the school teacher,
Okay.
because he can estimate that at best. But I can also imagine, and I think that happens in some cases, where the parents
okay.
think, oh no, I want my son or daughter to receive the best education,
Exactly.
so I will send him to the gymnasium
Gymnasium.
regardless.
Okay.
And what happens then sometimes is that the children come into the gymnasium, and they sooner or later, rather sooner, realize that this is a lot harder than elementary school or primary school.
Okay.
And then what? Yeah.
Okay, so then it means like if I am if I will be the parents in the future, of course. So it depends on me, like to get a view from the recommender, like the teacher, and decide myself, like whether I want to put my children to that recommended one or not.
Yeah.
So it fully depends on the parents then. Okay.
I guess that's how it works. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any like limits that there is. You're not allowed to go to the school unless you have this and this grade from elementary school.
Makes sense. Because like it's basically, if you fix it for education, that doesn't make any sense. That put a pressure from the government and at that little age. So yeah.
I'm not aware that there is like a strict rule, like cut off here. You are not allowed to go to the gymnasium.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
Super. Okay, then you did your gymnasium, and then.
So this took basically from grade 5 to grade 12 for me. So it was like 8 years. Now I think they switched again to 9 years gymnasium, so they have a 13th grade or 13th class.
Yeah, exactly. Just a point on that topic, because like the viewers of the international students, they also know that like if you want to do a bachelor here in Germany, you need a 13 years of education. I think that's now quite perfect, because you also are having a 13 years of education, right?
No, I have 12 years school education.
Okay.
I don't think that there's a number of fixed years that you have to have, as far as I know. It's just that you have Abitur, like a high school diploma.
Yeah, we have that.
In German it's called Abitur.
Abitur, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so after 12 you did your Abitur, and then you went to the university, right?
Exactly. I started like the year I graduated from gymnasium. I started to study at LMU. Okay,
just one thing, like what was the year you graduated from?
It was 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
All right. So I did my Abitur, like from your perspective, on 2014.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, I'm at the stage of yours as well. So yeah, that's the thing I'm saying. Like you passed like after 2 years of mine, but like we were kind of in the same age, because like we have kind of lots of education gap in between of this Abitur and university life, and when we passed our 10th and when we went to 11th, there's also a gap in between.
So how long was your school? How many years did you go to school?
Okay, so it was also 12 year.
Yeah.
12 year, but so in between 10th and 11th there is a gap of 6 months, because we don't have the college, we call it college level. 10th and 12th it's our college level, but we don't have a fixed college. For example, like you can put you in another college from your school, like where did you study basically 10th till your 10th.
Okay.
So generally we have 12 years, but we have some study gaps, that's why it gets a bit increased rather than you.
Okay, so how is it, like you have to grade 10?
Yes.
Then there's the 6 month gap you just told me about.
Exactly, for getting into a college.
Okay, and college is like 11
and
12.
12.
Okay.
Then
And not all people go to college level, I suppose?
exactly. So you can choose your path from 10th after SSC we call it.
Yeah.
School, and after 10th you can choose. You can go for vocational training, or you can also go for college.
Yeah.
Or you can do something else. What do you want to do basically?
Yeah.
Or
you basically also have this decision in the gymnasium, like you could stop after the 10th class.
exactly. We have that decision on 10th. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I was basically just a comparison like yours education, because I did my abitur at 2040 and you did 2060, but we are in same level. So that's the thing basically. A study gap basically sometimes can give you a big pain at the level of increasing or being successful. Okay, I will come into that point, age versus education as well.
Yeah.
And then you went to LMU, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, LMU is Ludwig Maximilians Universität. It's one of the greatest and best universities in Germany and whole Europe, I would say, because it has a great reputation on the basis of ranking. And though Germans don't believe in ranking, there is no that much of ranking, but LMU is the best. In the medicine, especially, I would say, because you people have really good medicine faculty, I would say. All right, and then you studied what?
I studied. It was called chemistry and biochemistry. Basically, it was more physics in the first 4 semesters. Which was the one subject that I never liked at school. I was like at school I was totally into natural sciences. Like chemistry and biology. This was what I found most interesting, so I decided to go and study that. And so the bachelor was called chemistry and biochemistry, and basically you can after the 4th semester, so there's 2 more in the bachelor, you can you can decide which direction you want to emphasize. And I emphasized biology and biochemistry because
biochemistry. Alright. And there is also a story, like you also are studying of psychology, right?
Yeah. After I finished the bachelor, I decided to not go on and do a master in biochemistry, but to switch a bit direction, change course, and study psychology. And that's where I am right now.
So it's basically clinical psychology, right?
And not yet. Like we have a common bachelor, and after the bachelor it differentiates whether you want to go in organizational psychology or clinical psychology or more into neuroscience and stuff like that, or learning and education. So there's
nice. So I also want to add one thing, like which year did you pass your graduation from university?
It was so the bachelor, you mean?
Yes, the first bachelor.
It was 3 years after I entered, so
2019, right?
2019, exactly.
All right, super. So I started my university at 2015, and I did graduation 2019, and you started 2016, and you got your graduation in 2019 as well. So that means pretty much 1 year gap. So that's the thing I was saying, like it's 6 months from 10 to 12, 10 to 11 when you were going, and after 12 you basically entered your university with your grades, right, from your gymnasium. Exactly. So we don't have that thing. We have to basically appear for the entrance exam. Yeah, so that needs also a time. For example, like I did my entrance exam on the November of 2014. And my university started on April 2015.
So 4 or 5 months after.
6 months almost. Yeah. So this 6 months and that 6 months is all 1 year gap, and that's why you and me got graduated in at the same year, but like. But
so
I did
you started studying 1 year
earlier. Exactly. And we also have, there is also a fact that we have our university level for 4 years, and you have for 3 years, right?
Yeah. So is it normal that the bachelor takes 4 years?
Yes. Yes. Bachelor takes 4 years. I don't know why is it, but because like your bachelor and our bachelor is kind of pretty much similar. But you took, I mean, like here it takes 3 years, and in our country it takes 4 years. I don't know why it's different. But
so how was the university in Bangladesh? Was it right?
Yeah, it was quite right, but I can assure you, like for example, like university like LMU, let's say like compared to LMU of like LMU of Germany, there is also a best university in my country as well, right? Like
Yeah.
LMU of Bangladesh, let's say.
Yeah.
And if you want to get inside LMU of Bangladesh, it's pretty competitive. I mean, like you have to compete with more or less 2 lakh. You know the lakh?
No. What is that?
That's 200,000.
Oh.
200,000 students, and the seats are very much limited. For
Yeah.
example, like 1,500.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
1,500 compared to like,
Yeah.
so it's pretty.
So the chances are
pretty tiny, yeah. So that's why you have to prepare yourself. Like it takes 4 months, then you have to prepare for the exam. But you are doing a lot of steps to get inside that university, but sometimes the environment is not that good because these are public universities, and I will come it later. There are politics and other stuff which basically is smashing the environment. So that why people, the genius people, are getting inside a genius university, but they are not getting proper education or nursing, I would say, or nurturing the students. These are not, I mean, like good in my country as well. I don't know about other worlds, but it's pretty much same for the developing nation, I'd say.
Can you explain it a little? What do you mean by not good nurturing or something like that? Like they're not treated well?
No,
in
they're
terms of
treated well, but there are like lots of divisions. First of all, the education system is not that good. I mean, like compared to other developed nations, compared to like Germany, you cannot compare it like with respect to Bangladesh, right?
Yeah.
First of all, this, but like what we have, we want to get the full 100% of it, right? But we are not getting 100% of it. First, the education system is not good, and the second is environment is not good. So in compared to like we are not getting 100% of it, because like there are politics, and I mean, like I can assure you the labs are quite good, but the equipments are not working.
What?
The labs, for example, like experiments for machines. I mean, like for example, like for the engineering perspective view, if you are an engineer, then it's really important to do the experiments quite well. Otherwise, you cannot know how it works and how the machines work. So
in terms of equipment,
it's just not well.
Okay. Yeah.
And for the public universities, the most difficult part is the politics, I would say. So there, students do the politics, and they basically sometimes ruin their life. And
Can you explain it a little?
I will come to it a bit later, because like I have a point of politics versus education. Then I will discuss it. All right. So you are now doing your bachelor in psychology, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Here I have a point. So you are doing your second bachelor.
Exactly.
So I was thinking to ask you, if your age, let's say you are kind of 24 years old age, right? Same as mine. So if your age was, let's say, 24 and you finished your bachelor, would you think about it to do your second bachelor?
It would depend on how and what I'm interested in, I guess. I mean,
have you seen anyone that like he or she did his bachelor at the age of 24 or 25, and now he's trying to do another bachelor?
That I haven't seen now, but there are a few older people in my study course, which already worked and already have family and decided to do another bachelor now. Or like do another study. I mean, they won't stop with the bachelor. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But why I'm saying this, because like at the age of 23 or 22, let's say, 23, let's say, we generally get our graduation, first graduation.
Yeah. And
if you do have a wish to do a second bachelor, so generally it never happens. I mean, like 99% cases, no one.
For sure. It's not that common here, also.
Okay. But I was just giving the glimpse. Like in our country, generally never happens that someone is doing his bachelor the second time.
I think I'm also like an exception to most people. Most people start to do a master afterwards or don't continue studying, I guess. But it depends on the field, I would say. Okay, but
if age was a fact, then you would think rethink.
I would not start a second bachelor now, but it's also in terms of like I feel that I'm heading in the right direction
Alright.
of psychology,
Uh-huh.
and this is basically why I switched. Like I didn't switch because I just wanted to do another bachelor out of them. I switched because it like fascinated and interested me, and the other, like, thinking about myself as doing only biochemistry didn't compel me that vision anymore.
I can guess it.
And yeah, there were multiple things maybe
So
switched.
I mean, like there should be a learning point from this point, that like if you have a wish and you were thinking that like what you did in your bachelor is not suiting you in the future, it's not giving you a good vibe for your future, then you can rethink a bit and you can change. But depends on your whole circumstance, because Toby's situation and my situation would be not similar to yours. Like you can rethink a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Like for me, it was basically like, would you wanna do? Would you like? I thought about like, would I want to start a master's now in biochemistry?
Okay.
That I already feel very surely right now that I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that made me reconsider that.
Exactly. And many, I can assure you, like in my country, at least 50% people thinks about it, that like whether it is good for me or not what I'm studying now.
Yeah, I mean you have to take the whole situation to account.
Exactly. Yeah. Alright, so now you were studying at bachelor, so more or less that's the profile of Toby, that he did his gymnasium stuff. I will also comment later, like what is the difference between gymnasium and other stuffs. I will ask you then. Then you did your bachelor at biochemistry, major at biochemistry, right? Chemistry and biology.
Chemistry,
biology. First bachelor, then he thought like, okay, this is not my field, I should switch a bit. Then he went to psychology, and now he's studying psychology.
Exactly.
Alright, so now I also want to know about the difference between that three schools: gymnasium, Realschule, and the last one is Hauptschule, right?
Exactly. Okay. Now it's called Mittelschule for.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I guess I think I will start by explaining how long they take. So, Hauptschule takes 9 years.
Okay.
Like it's just 5 additional years to your elementary school or primary school.
Okay.
And after that, I guess most people do training, like Ausbildung. They learn some specific job.
Training for
Exactly. And Realschule takes 10 years in total, so 6 additional years to your elementary school. And after that, you basically have the same educational level like
Gymnasium?
Like Gymnasium at class 10. So you could also do Gymnasium and drop out after class 10, and you would have the same educational level like a person who did Realschule.
Okay, so Realschule also can enter university, right?
Only under specific circumstances. If you do another thing after Realschule, which is called Fachoberschule. So if you have Realschule, then you have to do, I think it's 3 years of Fachoberschule, which is just some additional training and classes, and then you can apply to university, because with ending the Fachoberschule you have the same educational level like someone with Abitur from the Gymnasium.
Alright, that means, so if Realschule had to do that Fachhochschule, Fachoberschule, let's say, so if someone is not doing that, like what should be the future of that person who has just studied Realschule?
Just did Realschule. I guess you could also do an Ausbildung, like vocational training. Yeah. Then
it doesn't make any sense. Like then it could be like better for the Hauptschule, right? I mean, like at the end you are doing, if I'm a Realschule student, then at the end I will be basically becoming a Hauptschule student, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you still learn a bit more.
Learn a bit more?
You learn a bit more.
Okay.
You have more education in Realschule than you have in Hauptschule, I guess.
Okay.
That's some more difficult things, I guess.
Alright.
And I don't know how much difference that makes when you're applying for something that's really practical, like working with wood or something like that.
Okay.
Like Schreiner-Ausbildung, like I don't know the English name for that. Like it's the person who does a lot of stuff with wood and builds things out of wood. And I don't know, like I think most people find their Ausbildungsplatz if they want, like their training position.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how much the grades or like the did you do Realschule or did you do Hauptschule affect that.
And a little bit of comparison, like at the fourth stage, I mean, like in your class, let's say, how many people or what is the percentage who went to gymnasium and to Realschule? I mean, like just a glimpse overview.
I would say I'm not entirely sure because I don't know where all my classmates from class 4 ended up, but there was a considerable amount who went to gymnasium from the whole year. I would say, yeah, a third for sure.
That means 30%, let's say.
Yeah, I think it's like one third to Hauptschule, Realschule and Gymnasium.
Okay. So is there any effect in their livelihood? For example, like with respect to respect. Let's say you are...
In their difference in their what?
Living, for example, respect. For example, like you, kind of a brilliant student, that's why you went to gymnasium, let's say, because your teacher recommended that like this boy is really brilliant. You should put him to the gymnasium. Then kind of it makes sense that you kind of special, let's say, or if you are kind of better than others, let's say. So in the society, I mean, like how people looks at it.
Yeah, I get the question. I would say I wouldn't say there's much discontent for people who go to Hauptschule. I wouldn't say that. But I only can tell from my experience. So like my parents come from a very are very normal people, like they have nothing to do with academia or university or something like that. And in my environment I never experienced any disrespect for more simple-minded people, if you want to call it that way, who just do more practical stuff. And
so it's pretty similar. There is no discrimination, right?
I wouldn't say that, no.
Alright.
I mean, there are people who are assholes.
And of course. They are like, you will find it in every country, in every culture, in every society. So
I wouldn't say there is like, in society at large, there's like, the people who have higher education look down too much. I don't feel like that's the case here.
Alright. And let's say about the earning. For example, a person who did his or her Ausbildung after Realschule, or after Realschule do the Fachoberschule. Am I pronouncing it right? Fachoberschule, genau. And then he or she went to the university. So does it make sense when you are getting a job or when you are applying to job?
I think in general it does. I mean, there's so many things going on in my head right now. Like, it takes longer till you earn money. Of course, if you study and then do something, but I think it should pay off in the terms of basic salary. But I don't know any exact statistics. I don't know them in my head. You would have to look them up. Like if there's mean differences in the yearly salaries of people who did Hauptschule versus Realschule versus Gymnasium or something like that. But I think there is a general trend that the more you're educated, the better job you have in terms of payment.
And I also wanted to know about, for example, like, do you know a bit history, like when this system has been started?
Not too much. I know that like a person called Bismarck at the end of the 19th century, I think, German Kaiserreich, something like that. He made it. He introduced the general school system that you were required to go to school. Since when it is split between the three directions after elementary school, I'm not entirely aware of. I can't point to you.
Because like if it's pretty I mean like old the system, then people likes it. People are happy with it, right?
I don't know, old in comparison.
For example, like let's say for 100 years it's running, and
Mhm.
people are happy with it. Otherwise, there should be some processions, some protests. Let's say that we don't like the system, change the system. It never.
Yeah, there are
happened.
always people who say that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
never in the big margin, right?
Like I don't see any like big protests that we should like restructure the entire school system from the bottom up. I mean,
It's never. That means you are happy.
I see that it works not too badly, and I'm generally a bit skeptical when people wanna do large scale transformations of social systems that are so complex that no single person can understand them. Because I think you can do a lot more harm than good when you do that without thinking about it.
Coming to that point, I mean, like, from your perspective or from your opinion, what could be the disadvantages of this system?
Like there's like in every system the selection
Of
process
course,
is not entirely based on merit and competence, I guess. Although I think it's not too bad to do it with the grades for sure. I mean there's certainly worse things. This is something I wanted to. There was a difference because when you had to enter your university, you had to write an entrance exam,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And like for biochemistry, which I studied from psychology, it is solely decided on base of your
Grades.
high school diploma. Your grade in the Abitur.
Okay.
But there are other fields that you can study where there are entrance exams.
Are entrance exams as
Yeah,
well. Okay.
yeah.
But it depends on the course, right?
It depends on the course. Yeah, I think in medicine they have like I don't know a couple of like they have let's say 100 positions for students, and then some of them like 40 I don't know are given solely based to the best students with the best Abitur exams, and then some they consider like okay they have done prior practical courses like I don't know like some I don't know the English word, it's like Pflegeausbildung, like they have experience with medical facilities and stuff like that, that run some courses, and there's another chunk of people or study places that get distributed based on some test that you can take at some universities, but it also differs from university to university, I guess.
Okay, now it makes sense. But we have a central admission. That's why I was saying, because like you have to apply for the admission, but you cannot choose your subject if your rank is really, really bad. Let's say let's say 3 subjects are there: computer science, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and like you want to study computer science, but your rank is quite low. That's why you won't get computer science.
And the rank is based on your school graduation?
No scores about from that entrance exam.
From the entrance exam. Okay, yeah, I get it.
So that's why I was saying like 50% of the students know that like this is not my field, but they're studying. They're studying. So it's a really bad disadvantage.
So they take it because it's the only thing
exactly you will get. Otherwise, it's not your passion, but you were doing it. That's it, like something like this. Alright, so educational system. So you are saying that could be a disadvantage. That could be con for.
Yeah, but it was just a general notion that no system is perfect, I guess.
Of course,
I mean, in one course that I had in psychology, we also discussed about like what could be done different, and like we talked a bit about Montessori Schule, which is an entirely other system, which I don't know when it starts, if it's already grade 1, but I think it's like also grade 5. So this is like a whole other thing next to Realschule and Hauptschule and Gymnasium, and I don't know too much about it because I don't know anyone who attended to Montessori Schule, but they have a different approach to learning in general, and they don't do too much grading.
Alright.
Yeah.
So if you are an education minister, let's say, would you support this dividation? Or would you like to do this dividation after bit aged class, let's say 8th or 10th, because I think there was a logic in this
Yeah.
dividation after 4th, right? Like the majority of brain grows up to that age. That's why you can decide like something like
I
this.
don't know if there's what this decision was based on, but I guess that I think there is merit to the idea of dividing people, and because you can already see difference in how fast people learn at elementary school,
All right.
and yeah, it makes sense to challenge the people who are faster a bit more than people who are slower, and to kind of sort this into different classes after that. I don't know what is the optimal stage, like.
Right. Yeah. So it's perfectly mentionable, of course. Yeah. Now it comes about the topic, which is called the free education. So,
Free education.
do you support free education for all?
What do you mean with free education?
Without any money, let's say.
But like school education, university education.
So in the school, it's also free, right? Or do you have to pay? Your parents have to pay something?
It's definitely supported by the government.
But not free.
But not entirely free, I guess. I think your parents have to pay money a bit for school, but it's not much. But I'm not sure.
How many percent? I mean, like let's 20%.
I don't know. I can't tell.
Okay, let's just come to the university. So because there is no tuition fees, like just in one state it is like in the Baden-Württemberg, right? Like you have to pay a bit of semester fees, like 1,500 euros.
So much? Okay.
It's not so much. I mean, just saying that like it's not.
Yeah, free. In comparison to like I only studied at LMU, and there are fees, but it's basically free. Like one semester is like
student
200.
Exactly. For me it's 100 something.
Yeah.
So do you support this? Like without any tuition fees, you are giving the education.
I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, why? I mean, like compared like in USA, you get. I mean, like you have to pay a lot of money in Canada, and you were giving, hey, let's try to educate your everyone and free.
Yeah, like at the United States, from what I know, you have to pay really much fees for college, right?
Exactly.
And you basically have, how do you say, Schulden, like. You have to borrow money from the bank or something.
Yeah.
Credit.
So people do that. Like exactly. People do that.
And like I wouldn't like when I had the decision if I wanted to do it here or go to USA. Of course, would do it here because I don't have to pay that much money and have debts in that amount.
Right. So then there comes another point. Like, so it's also free for international students. So do you support that? Like. So basically, this is the money from the tax you are paying, right?
Yeah.
Then it basically is going to the university. I mean, the government is basically distributing the money to the universities, and that's why you don't have to pay something.
Yeah.
Or to pay semester fees. So we are also getting that offer. So do you get bothered sometime? Or compared to like, for example, your people. Do the people like this system? Like, for example, like a people who is not belong to us. He's or she is coming from another country and just having that opportunities what we are giving with our money. So does it bother?
No, it doesn't bother me. I think it's good. Like if there are genius people, why not give them opportunities? Like in the end, everybody would profit from giving the geniuses most access to education, right?
All right. Yeah. So you fully support that?
I support it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's also a good opportunity for the other people. And I have an opinion on it. I think it's a very good if you want to get a good vibe from the whole world. For example, like people are now knowing Germany. They're coming to Germany. They are basically getting education. They're basically knowing people. They're knowing Germany. For example, like me coming here now, I'm doing some vlogs and videos and basically exploring Germany and showing other world, showing other part of the world because like. Our world and your world, it's kind of far difference.
Yeah.
Here, life is kind of luxurious compared to ours.
It's kind of what? Serious or?
Luxurious.
Luxurious,
yeah. And I'm basically giving a vibe and people are knowing it like that, yes, Germany is really good for education and Germany is it's giving a good vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty good at that sense as well. And I think it's one of the major reasons why people come in Germany, because the education is free and you don't have to pay that much.
Yeah.
And they're providing a good opportunities for the jobs as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, now I have a typical question. You can basically ignore it, or you can also give some of the glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
So before the World War and after the World War,
two, I guess.
yes, two,
Yeah.
of course. Do you see any difference, or from your parents or from your grandpa or Oma or Opa?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any glimpse, like what was the life before in education and what is the life after the war in education? Because as far as I know, after the World War II, Germany basically gave a really emphasis on the education, science and technology.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, I mean, like, do you have any idea on it?
I actually don't know too much about how exactly it was back then after
Mhm.
World War. Like I never had a chance to talk with my grandparents too much about that,
Sorry.
because they died pretty early. Like, I mean, when did my grandparents die? Like, it was like at least 8 years ago now.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
And yeah, with two of them I never had too much contact, and they also didn't talk by themselves about it. So I don't have that perspective of how it was
Okay.
back then in
Okay.
terms of education. So I can't
Okay.
really make any star comparisons now.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Did it make you a bit serious? I mean, after World War II.
Me?
Not me. I mean, compared to, I mean, like me in a sense, like German people.
Like, I don't get the question right now. So
Serious mean, like for example, like now you want to rebuild, and because that happened, I think like they were quite emphasizing on getting the reputation back, and now they got their reputation back, and they are the fourth biggest economy in the world. They are doing good political things. I mean, kind of backbone of EU, let's say. So like, I think that's why.
you mean like if the World War made people like kind of get back and work hard afterwards?
Exactly, yes. I think they were working hard before as well, right? It doesn't make that far difference, I guess.
Yeah. Like that, there's this cliche, and it's of course somewhat true. Like all cliches, the German are like working hard.
I was going to ask that, like, is it a stereotype, or is it a myth that like Germans work hard and they're so disciplined and
Not all Germans, obviously, but I think in general there's people work reliable.
really hard?
So
Really hard.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. If
Yeah.
you are in a position, let's say you were a first boy in the class, and then you have to work hard or harder to make or sustain your position at first level. So I think Germany is working hard to maintain its position, in the world. So it's pretty. I think you have to work hard if you want to do it.
Yeah, of course, but I don't know if anybody thinks like, okay, I will need to work hard so that Germany can keep up with. I don't know if there's this competition between countries.
I mean, you never know. They could be. And political, whatever. I'm not a political
not
person.
sure.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So let's come to the point of politics and education. I mean, like, do you think like practicing politics, educational institute is the right place?
Can you specify the question?
For example,
like
in my country, generally people start practicing politics in their university life. let's say.
Yeah.
Then they basically do some student politics.
Yeah.
After a sequential term, they basically go to the, let's say, district politics. Then they go to the main politics. So this is the sequential stuff.
Okay.
But
so for a career in politics, you say. But is it like you said, people start doing politics when they enter university? Is this like a general thing? Like everyone does some
No,
politics?
not
stuff,
everyone.
or-
Like for example, I
Yeah.
didn't do it,
Yeah. Okay.
but you can do it, and
Yeah.
at some sense it has some advantages, but the disadvantages are really high
Mhm.
in number. So do you have that situation as well?
Personally, I'm not a politics person.
Mhm.
I focus on the individual level.
But how
as
was
far as
the
I can.
environment?
But I think you can get involved in some sort of politics because like every faculty or every study course has what's called a Fachschaft, which
Okay.
is like the students' representation of
Mhm.
the students,
Mhm.
and they have some political influence in like organizing events and
Mhm.
distributing certain
Mhm.
money and electing new professorial positions and stuff like that. And there's like also like it's kind of like there's a convention of all these
Mhm.
Fachschaften,
Okay.
and they're like I don't know exactly the structure. It's a bit complicated, I guess.
Okay.
A friend of mine who studied with me in the Bachelor of Chemistry and Biochemistry, he got involved into that a bit,
Okay.
and he's now responsible for some environmental stuff that
Alright.
that some student organizations are.
I mean, like, do you know? I mean, I don't know, like, if you know it or not. Like, after doing this pre-politics, let's say, at your university,
Yeah.
after that, what is the scenario? I mean, what should he or she do if he or she is doing the politics?
If she wants to do
The politics.
I actually don't know too much about it of
Alright.
a political career, but you can study political sciences. But I don't think yet that you necessarily have to. I think it's just if you start early and get involved in that stuff with parties, and
Alright.
I'm painfully
But
ignorant
it's
about
not practicing politics, right, at university level.
it. Like, I mean, you can. I guess it starts like at this low level that you have, like for example, you're a member of the Fachschaft of your study course and kind of plan and organize certain events and have some Mitspracherecht, so some say in decisions concerning your study course.
Alright.
And stuff like that. And I guess it can scale if you want to do that and you're into that thing.
Right, right. And did it happen, I mean, like, in your entire university life, that the violation or some protest is coming from the students?
Yeah, like one example that I remember was when I studied chemistry and biochemistry, there was one professor in chemistry who did some research on explosive stuff,
Okay.
which would also be used for sort of weapons.
Oh,
some-
alright,
in
okay,
some
okay.
manner. And once there were like people from another study course, which were sort of into politics
Okay, yeah,
a
I got
bit,
it, I got
and
it.
they wanted to like incite us to demonstrate against this professor
Okay.
and say that this is like
This is
not
good.
morally
Good.
accountable for, and yeah, so this was one thing that I remember.
Alright, because like we also have some protests. Let's say nowadays a protest is going on in our country in one public university, and so there, like, I don't know about the situation when the protest is coming in Germany. Like in our country, it gets sometimes really hard. Let's say police comes there to control the situation, and the students get sometimes beaten by the police.
Okay, so student protests on a really large scale.
Really
to
large
kind of
scale,
get off
yeah,
on
it's,
that.
yeah. For
Yeah.
example, like it also happened to, like, let's say you said about the professor. There was also a protest for one professor because he did some misbehave or some bad manners were there towards the students, and two students didn't like it.
Yeah.
So they went to the principal, not the principal, vice chancellor, I don't know, your president, let's say president, and the president say, no, I don't want to listen or hear about anything.
Yeah.
And then somehow or other it got really serious, and now people are not doing any classes and other stuffs. They're basically protesting.
Revolting, really.
Exactly. So does it happen to your
I've
like
never,
the police involved in that
No.
situations? Never, right?
No, I can't think of a instance, like in what I have experienced, definitely not.
Never happened.
No.
Yeah, so different cultures and different systems, I would say, and that's why I always try to say to my fellow friends who are not from my country and not from they are from other countries that we are different, but we are not conservative or pretty much different. Like it's kind of different because like they said that you are quite conservative, and let's come to that point. Like people
Okay.
say the Germans are quite conservative, like they don't talk that much. They're not friendly. Is it a stereotype as well? Myth.
Like in comparison to what our country, they don't talk much or are not friendly. Like
I mean, for example, like we like to talk a lot,
yeah.
and for example, like gossiping, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Like you tell me what's your experience. You came from
Here,
Bangladesh.
okay,
How is it for you here?
Here,
in terms of
I think the modern people, like for example, I also have born like 1917, 1997. So the modern people are quite friendly. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're friendly, like same as ours. But I think the people who are kind of born in like let's say 70s, 1970s or 1980s, they are a bit, a bit cold.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I kind of can see what you mean. Like I think of myself when I go around like at the subway station. Like most people are from most people watch on their phone.
Yeah.
So that's also like a bit cold, I would say. And like I don't know if this applies to all of Germany, but like it's not that common that you just have a conversation with a complete stranger out, I guess. And I guess that's different in other cultures. Like some people tell me Spain people are really like they talk all the time.
Yeah, true.
It's really cool. But like from what I have experienced, when I need help with anything, like I have to find a way, and I ask a person, they're more than happy to help out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's a good point. And now it comes to the racism, let's say. There's a big, I would say, stereotype in the other world, let's say in our countries, that like people in Europe, they're quite a bit not like for foreign people in their homeland. I won't say it's a racism or something like this. I don't want to use that word.
I think the term is xenophobia. Like if you have a sort of you don't like strange people. I guess.
Yes. So what's your take on that? I mean,
like from my own experience, I have never really seen any straight out racism, to be honest. I see that some people are somewhat skeptical of too many foreign people, but I also see the opposite. Like, I don't think there's this like any sort of systemic problem or something like that. Like some people might.
So basically, when some people, let's say from my country, consult about higher education in Germany, first they ask like, how are the people in there? Are they good to the foreign people? Let's say like me. So I always say that like in my country you will find also some dividation. Like on the basis of the region. For example, like Bavarian people are not liking the people of, let's say, NRW. So it also happens in my country as well. So that you cannot expect 100% full support or 100% a good feedback or good manner if you're coming here. So it's always there in every country. So you cannot.
I've never met any foreigner who told me that he had been treated in any racist manner or something like that. But I also didn't have too much contact with foreign people so far. How about you? How do you feel here in Germany? Do you think you're treated fairly?
I think I have treated very well. I have been to like for example like 3 or 4 places here in Germany. And everything was really good. I really liked it. The special case is language. It's a kind of a thing. Like if you can speak a bit language, then people basically welcomes you a bit
Yeah.
really really welcoming way, a good way.
Yeah, I guess it's also like a sign that you're trying to
Involve and
get
trying
integrated
to,
or something
exactly,
like that.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the thing basically, and at the end, so if you rate your education system, I cannot say rating because that you are here in Germany, so you cannot compare it to USA or something like that because you were here in Germany entirely.
Yeah, I have not seen
other systems as well.
options, yeah.
So like for me, I will rate the system, I think 9 out of 10, because like what I found good basically at the age where people gets people get its or his or her full brain is working at the age of the 4th grade, let's say. You're basically splitting it. You are basically let's say putting them into a good vibe, good environment, putting them what they basically want to do. This is one part, and another part is like you are getting chance what you want to do or what you want to do your study. You're not forced to take what
Yeah.
you will get from the
I
university.
think we have pretty good equality of opportunity.
True indeed. I also find it. Yeah, I also find it very good.
At least as far as societal structures can provide it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always people who have who come from parents who don't support
Mhm.
education and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Of course, that is something that's
Yeah.
always the case. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So more or less, I have another topic just to get the psychology of students.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel that like here in Germany, as you were studying psychology, I think you can say about some stuffs about psychology. What is the psychology of students towards education?
In terms of what? This is like a really broad question.
Yes,
like,
it's a very broad question and compared to like, do people want to be educated?
I guess some of them do and some don't. Like,
If they don't, like, what is the psychology like? No, I don't want to be educated.
I mean,
there is no advantage.
I think that they're not just that much interested in doing something that abstract or like learning in general. I would say like most of my friends from who graduated, like who did high school with me, or who did Abitur with me, or like what means most, like the people that I have most contact with still, they did not go to university. They did like start Ausbildung.
Alright.
How do you say Ausbildung in English again? Like
Vocational training. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like one went became a policist. Another one did electrician. Another one did marketing and communication. And now he's doing some web design. But I've also some who went to university. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's like the people who did vocational training, they also didn't have really good grades in their Abitur, so they wouldn't have had too many options in terms of studying, I guess. But I think it's also like at that point you think like, nah, studying, that's not something for me. So yeah.
I mean, like in my country, what happens, like, let's say if you get less grades, you can also study good subjects in the private universities, let's say.
Yeah. Well, what is the difference between public and private universities? That you have to pay a lot for the
private? You have to pay a lot, really high amount.
I'm not sure, but I am sure that there are private universities in
Germany as well. Yeah. But people doesn't like it.
Like I haven't really put too much thought to it because I never met anyone who went to a private university.
Same goes here. I mean, like each and every city has their like university, technical university, and also sometimes Hochschule.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much.
So there's a pretty good supply of public universities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the main reason. Alright, so almost at the end, like almost.
Did you want to talk more about the psychology of students or what sort of was going on in your mind when you formulated the question? Like, did you want to talk about people who like on what basis they decided if they went studying or not studying, or
So like for example, like in my country, sometimes it happens that they don't value education that much.
they don't value education that much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you will find it in the developing nations very high number, that like people don't like education, but nowadays it's changing. People are basically giving the values of education because they think like it's good for their children and something like stuff.
Yeah.
But that's why I was asking, like, because like you are kind of rich people, you don't need. So like, for example, like in my country, what is the purpose of education nowadays from my point of view is, if you had a good grades, if you have good education, you get a good job and you will get money and you will have a good life, right?
Yeah.
But people here in Germany, like who are quite, I mean, like they're quite of rich people, and if you are not educated, you can do some stuffs and you can earn money. Earning money is not a problem here, I guess.
Yeah, I mean you have to work, but
earning money is not a fact. But in my country, it's not. It's a problem.
But I think in general there people attribute value to education.
Okay.
Like I kind of get to like how do you say that? I think that like that this happens for some people, that the parents like put a bit too much pressure on their kids. Like I do a lot of tutoring. For also people who are at school level, and I had some students there who I felt like that they're only here because their parents sent them, and they want their child to be educated because they think it's good for them, and there's of course some merit to that. But yeah, sometimes I guess it become too much pressure sometimes. But I also never like saw that to some extreme case.
Like, all right.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. I must admit, like giving value to the education, it's what modern world needs. Otherwise, you will get so much hypocrisy type things that can destroy the whole world.
What do you mean with that? Like,
I mean, so there will be obviously hypocrisy means like double standards. There will be always. If you
double what?
Double standards.
Double standards.
Yeah, I mean, for example, you were saying like I'm a good people, or I'm a good person. On the other hand, you were basically doing the bad stuffs. This is the double standards.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure what to make.
I mean, it's a broad field, and I'm not sure like if I can explain it a bit.
You can try.
Okay, let's say hypocrisy means, let's say if you are not educated that much, and the education is not there entirely, you will not find a good way of describing yourself, and you won't be able to judge what is good, what is bad. So you can say that like you are a good people or you are a good person, but you are doing the wrong thing because like you are not educated, you don't know like this is the thing you are doing is bad. But you were saying like, okay.
So you see that education in terms of also like moral development.
Exactly. That's the thing I was saying, because like in our country it's always comes with the money, not the moral values. So here it comes with the moral values. I'd say that like education is coming on the perspective of moral values, not the perspective of money.
There is a general idea that it's better to be educated.
Exactly. Because like in our country it always comes with the money, because like for example, like me, I led a really decent life, and I want to do better, and for that reason I needed a good job, I needed a good money. Money factor was there always in my mind, and it's, I think for the 70% of the case or 90% of the case, it happens always there in a student's mind.
Yeah, I mean, this is for sure also part here, because you want to have a good job with a high salary, of course, because money is obviously useful.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like in terms of like the value of education in terms of moral development, I think there's a general sense that it's better to be educated than not, but I'm not sure how to go with that right now from here.
All right, no worries. It was just a simple conversation, and more or less I have ended all my points. If you want to add some points, or if you want to know something like from my side.
No, I just want one thing that was going on in my head before was like, when you told me that like LMU is the top university in Germany, I was like, whoa, wow, okay.
I didn't know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Like the thing is, I've only been studying at LMU, and I guess that's true for like everything you. What's salient is the things that don't work and are not great, and you kind of complain about the stuff, and then like from people like you telling me this, like the other guy who lived in the room once, what's his name? He was from India. I don't know his name. No, not Shilajit.
Okay. Jimmy.
Dinesh.
Dinesh. Okay.
Dinesh. We also talked about it, and like that really made me aware of actually my university is not that bad. But I had no center of comparison. You know what I mean? Then
that's a really good point.
Then you
also,
don't think about that.
We can also talk a bit about the ranking stuff, because in my country, people always focuses on ranks.
Yeah.
This university is the number one in the university in Bangladesh.
I can tell you how it was for me, like, because I like how I decided to go to LMU and not another university. It was just like, this is the nearest university and I take it. Yeah. There was not too much thinking about rank ordering. But I guess like, I don't know if there's too much difference in the universities in Germany. I guess they're in general decent, I would say. But I didn't think of the LMU when I went there as like the best thing, and I'm super happy to go there. I mean, of course, I was happy that I got accepted, but it was also like easy to get accepted in chemistry and biochemistry, to be honest. And like now that I'm looking out for a master in psychology, there I think more about what's the best university, and I tried to find some rankings on Google, but there haven't been too many good ones.
I think Heidelberg works quite good.
I think Heidelberg is pretty decent. Yeah, I've also heard that in general, but it's all more or less hearsay. Like, I don't think if there are too good rankings on it, or I haven't looked close enough. But
yeah. So it happens. I mean, like you if you go to India as well, you will find these ranking stuffs.
Yeah.
I mean, like
more widespread.
Exactly, widespread. I mean, so it's a pretty so I would say it's kind of a cultural thing to deal with the rankings always.
Yeah.
Because I was also, when I was coming at TUM, a ranking was there like in my mind always, because like I'm coming, and it's a really good university in the whole world with respect to technology and engineering.
How did you perceive like competition in your study course?
Here in Germany.
Here in Germany, yeah.
I found it's basically being I mean, like the competition is between me and myself here.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like you don't know what is the score, what is the CGPA of your friend.
Okay.
Here.
So you don't see the entire grades of your class.
Yeah, but in my country it was there always. Like you will find in a notice.
There's a lot more emphasis in that. Okay. That's
they're like, okay, this is the first boy, this is the second boy, this is the third boy. So I'm not in the 1 to 5th. Okay, so but here I really find it interesting that you never know what is your grades are, and you will basically compete to yourself. That are you improving or are you not improving? It depends on you. You will judge you, not others. And there, like I found, like you judge you compared to others. Here, you judge you compared to yours.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's always, I guess, you judge yourself always in sort of comparison to others. You ask your friends what grades they have.
Okay, you do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not like that it's too much emphasis in it. Like in chemistry and biochemistry, we actually got a list of all the grades, but not by name. So there was just an immatriculation number, and so you could see your thing on the list, but you could see the mean and like get a feeling of how you scored in terms of everyone else, if you wanted that. But there was also not that much competition going on, because like we were told that the grade is not too important for getting into the master courses at LMU there.
Okay.
For the master I considered to apply, which was biochemistry, there was an entrance exam which you had to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So you had to send in your grades, but then finally the decision would be based on the grade of the entrance exam. And now in psychology, like it's hard to get into psychology. I think the numerus clausus, like the your grade that you have to access, is like around 1.2 or 1.3 from your high school exam, and basically, like I don't know how it is for other people, but there is some sense of competition, I think, but just because there are very few master places, especially in clinical psychology, and like the majority of psychology students want to go into clinical psychology, and I think there's like, I don't know, 30 places for 60 people or something like that. So that creates, I think, for some people a bit of pressure or perceived pressure. I don't know if you should kind of think too much about the pressure, but some people definitely do. I don't know. And yeah.
But ranking is not a fact here, is it? I mean, like if you are staying at NRV, you are not coming at LMU, right?
Like if I didn't get
I mean, like if your home is not here in Bavaria, let's say it's in the NRV.
I mean, some people do. They come from NRV and study at LMU.
Okay, they also do.
Yeah. But I don't know if they just want to go to another city or if they applied for multiple universities and this was the only one they got accepted to, or whatever is that decision is then based on. But I think it's for some people it's of course rank ordering also. If they kind of heard that LMU is pretty decent, they want to go there and not somewhere else.
Yeah, basically I know a person who was from Hamburg, but it's for masters. So he said like TUM has a good reputation, so I thought like why not do my masters in here? So he came from Hamburg. So it's a good point as well. I mean, like you will find everything more or less in every country, I would say, in the number of high numbers sometimes, or in the number of low sometimes, but you will get each and every point or each and everything a bit in each and every culture. So that's why we are kind of different. That's why. Right. So anything?
I have a question. Like, if there is so much competition in Bangladesh as to getting into university, because it told me that there were this amount of applicants and this amount of positions. What do all the other people do?
It's a pretty tough question, I would say. So if you have money, you will go for the private university. If you don't have money, so there is a university called National University. Let's say, so the National University is kind of, it's a central university. Who is the owner of small colleges, let's say. So there you can do also your bachelor.
But these are not the public state.
These are also publics, but as I said, like let's say Realschule or Hochschule, but comparison. I mean, like the university, the public universities, for example, like LMU or TUM, and this national university. I don't know how to explain it in German, but let's say they're a bit decreased. Compared to the education system, and you can go there. They have a big number of seats, and if you don't have money and if you cannot be into national university, then it's up to you. I mean, like we are a really small country with big population.
So then you cannot study and have to find something else to do, or move to another country.
It's not possible.
It's not possible?
No.
To move to another country?
Yeah, we have borders, so we cannot go. Like for example, like if a person from Poland says, okay, I am not liking Poland, I will go to Germany. He can come. Or for example, like France people, they can come to Germany, but we have borders, so we cannot do it. So you have to stay here.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we have to basically fight for our primary rights, let's say, like this. So
So you don't experience that level of freedom that people here experience? Or
yes.
In Europe experience?
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Yes, in Asia it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
across all of Asia, or
Yes, across all of Asia you will find borders. There's no way.
there's no moving around that easily?
No,
Okay.
no. You can't even go to other country.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
yeah, it's just pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's another world, as I said.
Like
before.
I say it's crazy, but it was like the norm for the last millions of years. I don't know how long, but like freedom is new, and we should take it very carefully.
Yeah, I think like in the not near future. I mean, like after 100 years it might happen, but I'm pretty sure it won't happen because like there were like lots of religious restrictions as well. There are like conflicts everywhere, so you cannot solve every conflicts.
Yeah.
Whatever, we are going to in a deep conversation.
Yeah, but I would like to.
So yeah, that's the best part of coming outside of your box, so that why you can basically know what others are doing. For example, like for me now, I know like what the people of Germany are doing for their betterment. But funny thing is, like I cannot implement this to my country because I mean there are like lots of other restrictions. You cannot do it. You cannot say that like, hey, I have experienced that thing here in Germany and I want to implement it in my country.
But look what you're doing here. Like we're like recording this and telling people what you experience, and I don't know what effects will be made after it. I don't know how many people will listen to this conversation or hear it and what they will take out of it. And yeah, but
they can know something. That's the thing, which wasn't possible, like let's say 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like everybody has access to so much information that you could never consume in 10,000 lifetimes, basically.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
Of course. Yeah. So anything else? I want to basically close it if you have no questions.
Right now I don't have any questions.
Alright. No, I have covered all of what I wanted.
Okay.
And it was really a good conversation.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Me as well.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for coming to my show. And anything last saying to my audience?
Yeah. I really don't know. It's always fascinating to talk with other people, like with you. You're seeing things from your perspective also helps me like appreciate the things that I have and often take for granted. Like we talked about freedom and stuff like that a bit, and that it's like the university is basically free, and that is not something that should be taken for granted.
And you are welcome to Germany.
You're welcome to Germany.
Yeah, exactly. Experience the vibe of Germany. So yeah, that's the thing, and I will give you the link when I will upload that.
Yeah.
And there will be lots of questions. I'm definitely sure about it. And you can go through the questions if you want. You can also give the answers.
How many subscribers do you have on your channel?
It's almost 2,300.
Okay.
So but it's growing really fast.
Yeah.
Because like for example, like within 28 days. I got like 300 subscribers, so now it's growing really fast. That's why I wanted to put this video now, and so that why people can know better. And
maybe you can gather some questions that people have, and we can do another one of these.
Oh yeah, that could be a really good thing. Yeah, I will definitely do it because what happened? I suddenly knew that like we are doing today, so that's why I didn't have that chance to gather the questions from the audience.
Yeah.
So generally what I do, like 1 week before, I generally put a photo of that guest to my channel. If you have any questions, just put it there, and I basically collect them and then
you can do that. I would be down for an hour.
All right, that's really nice. And thank you for coming to my show, and it was really nice hearing from a native German towards the German education system. And I'm pretty much sure you know many of the stuffs. And if you don't understand any step, you can just put your comment here, and I can basically give a description. As Toby said, like if we get good questions, we can do another session of on this topic. All right, so it's a good time being here, and hopefully you have enjoyed. And if you are not a subscriber, do subscribe. And if you don't know, I have a Facebook page as well. You can go there and like that page as well. And you can follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and other stuffs, and you will find all the details in my channel. All right, and be safe and put your mask on always, and see you in the next videos. And in the next video, Be calm, be healthy. Ciao.